Alright, so this is the sectioning. What I've done is I've got a circular section in the crown. And I'm going to do two different things for you. I'm going to do a bob with graduation on this side. And then I'm going to do a bob with layers on this side. So two different things. Obviously I can't film this in cut, so the infamous me, Muldoon, is going to film.
That's very close to my face.
Alright, where's my water spray? Alright, we ready?
Mm-hmm.
You got this?
Yes.
Sweet. Alright, so we're going to start on this side. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my outline in first. And I'm going to use my outline as a guide to cut this area afterwards. So first thing is I'm not going to start in the back, I'm going to start in the front, right? So, come over here.
That's what I'm doing.
So first thing I want to do is just add a lot of water. Now the reason why I'm doing this section is basically so that I can work from the front towards the back. So it makes it a little bit easier to get that length that your client requests. So put it behind the cheekbone and just comb down. Now when you do this, you want to stand right in front of it so that you can see. And not move to the side. Tap above the ear. All the way down. And I'm going to cut it at this line here. Keep it on the longer side. So make sure that that is in place. Once I've got the hair in place, I don't really go back to the root and drag down through it. I go actually lower so that I don't push and pull through this area. Keep it nice and consistent. So kind of on the looser side. I don't tend to use a lot of tension when I'm cutting a bob. I don't push it against the skin. A lot of people do it different ways. The reason I don't put it against the skin is because she doesn't wear it against the skin. It falls naturally, so that's what I'm trying to do with this. Taking that all the way through. Right? Anyone asking any questions?
Someone said something in Spanish.
Oh, cool. So there you can see I've got quite a nice strong outline. That's what some people would call square. I don't necessarily call it square anymore. I used to, but I realised that it's just a line, and a square is, you know, it's a series of lines that connect. And you have a series of corners, where in this line there's no corners, it's just a line. So I'm going to take that through onto the other side. What I do need to do is I need to keep the hair damp. The water adds weight to the hair, and so that just pulls it down into 0 degrees, into natural fall. Just take that all the way through. Again,
Someone said you're amazing.
thank you, that's very nice of you.
And they took a class with you.
So again, same thing, not pulling on the hair too much, just allowing it to fall into its natural fall. And just really kind of holding the hair in place with the comb. So I'm not really dragging through the hair.
Hi, Ira.
What's up, geezer?
Hello, Uncle Ira.
So again, taking that all the way through, tapping above the ear. If anything, go crazy with the tapping, because once it's gone, it's gone.
Do you always part in the middle for a bob?
I part wherever the person parts. So I'm one of those that tends to work with a natural parting. So it's not always in the middle. I'm doing the middle today because I'm going to do a layered bob on one side and I'm going to do a graduated bob on the other side.
What's the tapping for?
The tapping releases tension so that when the hair falls, it's allowing for anything that would cause the hair to pop out and stuff like that. So especially where that ear is, see the hair would travel further over the ear. So I pull that area a little bit more tighter. So what I do is I tap above it and that loosens it. Cool. All right, so now let's move to the next bit. And that is to graduate this part. So, let's just analyze what I've done. So I pulled everything down in this section, right? So basically what that means is it's shorter at the bottom and it's longer at the top. That's graduation, right? Well, it isn't in this case. Right now it's one length, everything's the same. But if I use elevation now, and I cut this on top of it, and I extend that graduation, I'm going to get a little beveled graduated bob. So I want to graduate, but I want to keep this outline. I don't want this to change. So the weight on the inside is going to get lighter towards
He is
the back.
already on TikTok. Oh, what brand mannequin do you recommend?
Well, this one is from Hair Art. It's called the Mia. I like this one because of the texture, but I also use pivot point mannequins. So, let's move into this. I'm working from the front. I'm going to work a vertical diagonal back section, moving into that hair that's not been cut yet.
And do you still cut hair wearing sunglasses?
No, I'm too old for that now. Can't see the same. That's funny. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. Used to do that.
All right, so let's lower this down a little bit now. So let's graduate this. So I'm going to pull the hair straight out. Now, look at this. Can we film this right here?
Yes.
Like my view.
Okay.
Like that.
Oops.
So you see the section, guys? It's diagonal back. So what I'm going to do in there is I'm going to cut graduation. So what's going to happen is it's actually going to fall triangular. So there's the underneath. All I'm going to do is extend that. And there we've got graduation. Looking at my outline to make sure I still maintain that, because again, I want to keep that. Next section, same thing, vertical diagonal back. Now the key to this haircut is to not over direct.
What kind of trips is that? It's great.
What's that mean?
I don't know.
Okay. So there's the underneath again. Just following that. So no over direction. If I over direct forward, it's going to get heavier towards the back. So I want to make sure that I pull this section straight out from the head and don't over direct it.
Oh, tripod.
Oh, tripod. This is the pivot point tripod. And it's probably the best one that there is out there, actually. So, next section, same thing. So my sections are moving backwards and they're vertical diagonal back. So what that means, guys, is it means that the back of the section is the bottom of the section and the front of the section is the top. And if I'm cutting graduation on that angle, it actually falls heavier in the front and lighter in the back.
What shear are you using?
I'm using Mizutani, and they're a particular scissor that I like. And this particular model was made for me. There's the guide, again following that. All the way down. So really what I wanted to show you this for is basically not everybody can have layers.
Is that a Sesbin comb?
It is a Sesbin comb. So not everyone can have layers. So basically, if you've got someone that's got quite fine hair and you start doing a lob or a layered bob, then that fine hair gets even finer. So this is an alternative because it's graduation, you're actually building weight. All the way down, and I'm now meeting this that's already been cut. So you put your outline section in first, and that gives you the guide to work the interior and the graduation. So the bigger the circle, the more graduation you're going to get. The smaller the circle, the less graduation.
So your aim is to have a balanced graduation from front to back on this side.
My aim in this side is triangular graduation. So it's actually getting heavier at the front and I'm actually getting lighter towards the back, but I'm maintaining my outline all the way through.
Can you do a recap?
Yeah. So my first section, guys, was the circular section in the crown. I pulled that down and I established my outline. I then moved into this hair that's not been cut, film this, and I took a vertical diagonal back section and I used the underneath as a guide. If you pull that out, straight out from the head, you'll see that that's graduation because I've cut with elevation. My section's a vertical diagonal back and I've used no over direction so that when I pull this out and I cut graduation in there, that actually falls heavier at the front, lighter at the back.
I just got it.
So straight out from the head, no over direction. Sometimes it's a little hard to work on the outside of the fingers, so I can switch it around and I can work on the inside of the fingers.
Is it not harder on your elbow to stand using scissors with no offset?
I wouldn't really know.
Are you bringing each section to the last?
Nope. No over direction. Everything's coming straight out from the head, so I've followed the head shape all the way around. If I over direct forward, then it gets heavier towards the back. I actually want it to get lighter towards the back. And that's why I'm using diagonal back sections and no over direction. And because it's graduation, it'll be triangular. As in lighter in the back, heavier in the front. As far as the scissor question, I'm not really sure about that one. I've been cutting hair for 26 years now. And I've used both offset and not offset. So the last section. All the way down into the underneath. And so this is the triangular graduated side. So a bob with graduation. So can you see that bevel? So my graduation's doing this. So real heavy graduated bob. So basically an alternative to a haircut here. Alternative to a layered bob.
What is offset?
Offset means that this thumb hole is up here. onset means it's the same.
What does your sectioning at this point look like?
So I've just finished this side. So my sectioning, once I put my outline in, right, that's my first section. I put my outline in this way. And then I didn't pull all of this down onto my outline. I used this now as a guide to cut the top. See that? That's graduation. And I work diagonal back sections, no over direction. And we've got a nice graduated bob there.
What scissors are you using and what size?
Okay. So, as I said before, I'm using Mizutani, and they're 5.5 inches. Scissors are like shoes, guys. You've got to try them on. So what I use doesn't mean that you would like them.
Do you have any tricks for not cutting too concave on the right side? I'm working on short layers in a class, and I seem to want to cut the right side concave.
Well, basically, I mean, I'd have to see what you're doing to kind of help you with that, but concave and convex are two completely different things. Convex follows the head shape, whereas concave works against it. So being consistent is probably not switching positions. You know, a lot of people tend to do one side one way and then they'll switch and do the other side the other way. If I do that, if I work from the top down, I'm always going to cut concave because that's how my arm moves, short to long. If I work from the bottom up, I can get the curvature of the head shape much better. So maybe that would help you. All right, let's layer this.
What's my hair?
So, bringing this last section down on this side. And we're just going to join the length up. And then I'm going to go into layering. Using that underneath as a guide. Working lower than the round of the head, so not dragging through that hair too much.
Yes, I am the camera person.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
No, we thought we'd make it a family affair. You guys have seen her grow up all these years, so put her to work now. Just get this last bit in the front here. And then we can get on with the layering part. All right.
Where did you learn to cut hair?
I learned to cut hair at Vidal Sassoon.
I was going to answer that.
I started as a student in Santa Monica in 1994, 95. And then I became a teacher there. And I spent the first decade of my career teaching there.
Do you recommend zero in the comb for curly hair?
Curly hair is really quite difficult if you start using the comb. You're going to need to probably use your fingers and use a consistent amount of tension just to control the hair. It's very difficult to do that in the comb, something I would probably avoid. All right, so we've cut this outline. We've got a bob.
Gerard says he learned it all from me.
Gee, bluff to me. So now that we've got this outline and this bob, I want to layer this, but I don't want to lose the front. So I'm going to show you what you have to do to make sure that you keep this line consistent all the way through. And it's all about understanding the head shape and understanding the density of what's going on. In the front, we have less hair than we do in the back. So from this point forward, the density changes. So we've got this gap here. So when I layer this back here, I have to be aware that the hairline is up here. So the hairline, if you work that all the way back, that's actually your occipital ridge. So I'm going to use the occipital to protect this all the way through. Pretty simple, straightforward. Come stand over here.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Dawn.
Hey, steak. So, we'll let that drop. So there's two ways I can cut this, because I'm going to cut in my fingers, right? So I can cut on the inside of my fingers, like so. Or I can cut on the outside of my fingers. They're going to do two completely different things. Look at the inside of my fingers. They're flat. So whatever I cut is going to be flat. The head shape's curved. So if I cut flat, some parts are going to be shorter, some parts are going to be longer. That's concave. I want convex. I want to follow the head shape. So if I use the inside of my fingers, I'm probably not going to follow the head shape. So I'm going to use the outside, because now the outside is curved. And I can also elevate.
Thank you, Dawn. And Gerard would like to see us play piano.
That's coming soon. Depends how much longer we have to stay inside. I'll be doing piano tutorials.
Me, do you want to learn regular?
So
I
now,
do.
Let's have a look at this, me.
I do.
You can stay where you were. We're also teaching me how to take. So look at that now. See that? That's a massive corner, right? Well, that is my outline. So here's the deal. The higher up the corner is, the stronger your outline.
And I would like to learn hair, yes.
So next section. Now I have to think about what's going to happen this way, right? What's going to happen from back to front? I want it to get heavier. I want it to be triangular. So I know I'm going to pull away from what I want to keep. But I've got options. The most amount of over direction, guys, is to bring everything into number one. So everything goes into that first section. But the drop off of weight is going to be very severe and very quick. And anytime you do that kind of over direction, she's going to need to speak to the manager. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take each section and I'm going to over direct them straight back. There's my guide. Make sure I've stood in the right place. If you're not stood in the right place, you won't bring hair to the right place. Very simple, right?
Yes. Yes, she is.
So always comb in what I'm about to cut, not what I've already cut. And so I'm just sending that hair straight back. Continuing all the way through. Now I've reached the natural round of the head. I can actually condense this
From Greece.
because my guide is stationary right here. So I'm just going to bring whatever reaches. And look, it doesn't reach. Why? Because I'm protecting my outline all the way through. So you can see now, it looks just like the other side does, but instead of it being graduation, this is layers.
For the millionth time. What scissors are you using?
So everybody likes that question.
I know.
That's fine though. I'm using Mizutani. Do you see that?
Yes.
You got that?
And they're custom. Because
Yeah.
the factor.
And look how thin they are. And the Mizutani pen slim. And you can get them at Mizutani. Alright, so now we're going to do the top. And basically, we've just done this.
Recap?
I'll recap in a minute.
Okay. That's what I was thinking.
So look at that, that's the underneath. So this is me cross-checking, right, making sure that everything's right. Cross-checking at the right elevation to make sure that that is looking what it's supposed to. If I look in the wrong place, it's not a very clean line, So that's a big deal.
Look at that.
So, now that I've done the underneath, worked vertical sections, over-directed everything straight back, I use the occipital as the guide and cut a layer that follows the crown, so convex. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as a guide for the top. So I'm going to pull these sections back onto this underneath. What are you laughing at?
Oh, it's because now somebody's just answering the question, what scissors are he
That's
using?
perfect. That's what we.
And they know the size too.
That's called
They're
coming
like
together as a community.
5.5.
So bringing everything back onto the crown. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
How's me's filming?
I'm trying.
So continue all the way through, everything back onto number one. If you go onto my IGTV, don't do it now, do it later.
No, oh yeah.
We're not done yet. But you can see me do the layered bob, and I do it with a side parting, and I show you how to do the balance and all that good stuff. Which I think is an essential. I think maybe I'll do that on Instagram for you in the next few days. But come and have a look at this now, man.
And Gerard, he is not homeschooling me. I think it's a family effort. But
Yeah, we
he brings me in and out.
yeah. It's Principal Michelle's. So there, guys, we've got a layered bob on one side and a bob with graduation on the other side.
What if somebody has a strong growth pattern in the crown? Would you cut it the same?
You've always got to be aware of stuff like that before you get going. Obviously, I'm aware of what's going on in the Mannequin. I cut quite a lot of these ones. So I know that there's always this going on there. But sometimes you might want to leave that out until afterwards, and you might want to technically maybe put it in more freehand, you know, not on the actual wet part of the haircut. You know, a lot of the times you've got a lot going on in here. So sometimes you could leave that out until last, to the very end.
Why do you cut it in a horizontal way and not vertical in the crown area?
This way, I was cutting it vertically. My sections are vertical. Come over here.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's up and down. So it's a vertical section. So pulling everything back onto the crown, because the crown's my guide. If you think about it, I just created this wall of the haircut, and all I was doing is placing the roof on top of it.
Oh, I have a job waiting at Hairbrain for me to film.
Yeah. I think Kelly needs to teach you a few things.
No, thank you.
All right, so let me see that.
I'm coming over here.
Let me have that. All right, guys. You guys enjoyed that. Thanks for joining us. Again, we've got bob of graduation on this side, and then we've got a layer bob on this side. So very similar looking shapes, but two different techniques. So this side would be for people that have loads of hair, and this side would be for people that don't have loads of hair. So anyway, thanks again. Cheers, me. Nice beanie.
Thank you.
See you guys later.